Jaden Springer, Baylor Scheierman, both impressive in Summer League. What should we actually care about? It's right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster Brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix, and 3 from KP. No, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Karalis on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started, raising business, how we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday through July. Then 3 days a week, August and September. So a little bit of a scale back, but still so much more podcasting than you're going to find anywhere else. So make sure you're subscribed to the number one Boston Celtics podcast in the world. Watch the show on YouTube, get into the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I'm John Karalis. If you don't know me, I used to play a long time ago. Now I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. And I've written the book called Built Different, a commemorative book celebrating the Celtics championship. Find it in stores all over New England, stores online. Unfortunately, no shipping overseas that I'm aware of. Sorry, just costs like $70 to ship overseas. And that's just not doable. I apologize to all of the international readers, listeners, and all of that. Today's show, we're talking about Summer League. We're going to get through, whoops. Let me add my little graphic too. It's helpful on YouTube when you add the graphic. When you don't, it just looks like a big black square. For those of you who are listening and not watching, just picture my face surrounded by a dark void of nothingness. Summer League, they played on, Saturday? They're playing again on Monday. So just a little scheduling. Podcast will be late for the Tuesday podcast. People normally, expect it somewhere around midnight or before in this offseason. The game is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which is ridiculous that Summer League has grown. Like, I love the fact that all the teams are there, I guess. But the fact that they're starting games at 7:30 is just insane to me. The fact that we have to sit there and watch Summer League at 10:30 p.m., but I will do it. I'm going to write about it on Boston Sports Journal, and then I will be podcasting afterwards. So just so you know, that podcast is going to be a little bit late. So you see, if you're on the YouTube page, just a list of names down there over my left shoulder. We'll get through them all. Let's just start with Jaden Springer. And I teased at the beginning, what should we care about? What shouldn't we care about? Jaden Springer had a really nice overall game. He led the Celtics with 23 points. He just had a nice game where he got to the rim. He hit some shots. He was 3 of 6 from 3. He got himself a couple of steals. I think overall, he looked like he might have been a tick too good for Summer League, which is good. And so Summer League is tough. Summer League, you want to watch Summer League and react to it the same way you react to a normal game. And yeah, go ahead. Like, entertainment-wise, go have fun. I'm not telling you not to have fun watching these games. Go have fun. Jaden Springer looked great. Baylor Scheierman looked great for most of the game. A lot of these guys looked really, really good. But I'm looking at it from a perspective of what translates for the 2024-25 Boston Celtics. What from these games translates to that? What from Jaden Springer, since I'm starting with him, translates to that? Now, he got to the rim a bunch, right? He was, he scored, like I said, he scored 23 points. He shot well, but getting to the rim at will in Summer League is not necessarily indicative of the type of performance you're going to see during the regular season. Because, as I've said in this podcast before, there's 30 teams, right? 12 players per team. So you've got now over 300 players, with 360 players for Summer League. And that might not be an exact number, but like 350 something, 370, whatever the number actually is. How many of these players are going to actually be contributors? I'm not even talking about regulars or starters. How many are going to be contributors? Well, we know on Miami there's one because they started Jaime Jaquez, and that was weird. But hey, he was in Vegas for the USA Select team. He decided he wanted to play. Okay, fine. That's up to him. It's a great challenge for these guys. They couldn't stop him. He almost set a summer league scoring record, but that's the challenge, right? That's an actual NBA player. And when you look at him scoring at will, doing kind of whatever he wants, unable to be stopped, you're like, well, yeah, that's Jaime Jaquez, man. He was a starter on a playoff team as a rookie, so he didn't need to be playing in summer league. But that's what you get when you get like a legitimate NBA player playing against summer league competition, where a handful of these guys are going to get minutes on their NBA teams, right? The lottery picks for the bad teams. So what are we looking at? A couple of dozen, really? I said a handful. That was an exaggeration, but a couple of dozen, maybe, out of almost 400. So you're not playing against competition that's, elite, let's say. So success at summer league, as I've said before, you're probably sick of hearing me say it. Success at summer league is not indicative of a whole lot. It's the failure at summer league is more concerning than success is encouraging. You're supposed to have success at summer league if you're anywhere near good. And Jaden Springer, we know that he's an NBA level player, at least an NBA level defender. So, okay, what's good? The shooting was good. The playmaking was good. He didn't turn the ball over, which is good. So those types of things are things we should care about. I said at the top, what should we care about? We should care about him not turning the ball over. We should care about him having 6 assists, right? We should care about him seeing the floor, making the right play. That's great. Shooting, super important. Super, super important. So the 3 of 6, great. 50%, obviously not sustainable, but what's the difference? 2 of 6, 40%. So he hit 3 of 6. If he can continue to hit shots, that's what I'm looking for him. Continue to hit those shots. If you can get 40%, high 30% shooting, but small sample sizes, the number is going to be a little weird. But if you can get to like 40% shooting by the end of the summer league, or better if he wants to keep shooting 50%, go for it. That's the stuff that you're looking for. If he can shoot 50% and make the right passes and make the right plays, okay, now we're getting somewhere with Jaden Springer. Now we're looking at a guy who we already know can defend. There was a play at the end where it was like the best and worst of Springer, where he ripped Jaquez, and it was a close game. And this is kind of where the Celtics lost. They ended up losing the game. Obviously, I didn't even mention the score, which was 119-114. That doesn't matter at all. But it was close, and you want to see the Celtics win if they can, because, they're trying to win. So Springer rips Jaquez. Great. The best of him. He's a great defender. But then the worst of him was in that moment when the Celtics needed a bucket. It was a 2-on-1 with Jordan Walsh. He didn't make the pass. And if you can't make the basic pass, that's something that would be concerning. Now, like I said, he had 6 assists. It's not like he wasn't passing at all. In that moment, a clutch moment, he decided to try to do it all himself. And that's a bigger demerit than the 6 assists were, I think, in his favor, right? The 6 assists were great, but in that moment, that play, it's like, woof, man, give the ball up, get it back, trust your teammates, make the right play. The number one thing the Celtics coaching staff is looking for is the ability to always make the right play. So Springer, great game overall. But couple of moments where in that particular moment where after that steal, you're like, oh, great, 2-on-1. give it up, get it back. Maybe give it up, get it back, and give it back up again because Jordan Walsh can go up and catch the lob. So all of those things are in play for if Jaden is going to get an opportunity to crack the rotation, even if it's 8th, 9th, 10th man, somewhere in that range, he has to show that he's going to make those plays. And look, it's very simple. Go to film session. He can sit there and be like, yeah, I know. I tried to do too much. My fault. I need to be better at that. I will be better at that. Great. Prove it next time and you're good. Wipe it out. But those types of things are important. The margin for error is so the New England accent shows itself up every once in a while. The margin for error is too small for players like Springer, who had a great game, but those mistakes are magnified. But overall, great game. Baylor Scheierman. What do I think about Baylor and what do we take away from him? That is coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Sports slow down a little bit over the summer. Not as exciting as the spring or the fall when there are championships or when things are starting back up, but there's still a lot. There's Wimbledon you could have gone to FanDuel.com and bet on. There's WNBA. I just came from Connecticut Sun and Phoenix Mercury where the Connecticut Sun won by a ton, so they covered their spread. You can go to FanDuel.com because they're hooking up customers all summer long with a boost or a bonus every single day. So there's something for everybody all summer long. Head on over to FanDuel.com. Make the most out of your summer. Use the tools that are available. Set your limits. Set your budget because they don't want you to go overboard. They want you to just have some fun over at FanDuel. And, of course, there's Major League Baseball. You can gamble responsibly at FanDuel.com. The official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports today. It's streaming 24/7 on YouTube. It's on the Amazon free Fire TV channels app. So go check it out. It's real talk all day long, every day, all day. Leave it on. If you want to just have good sports talk in the background, it's better than any other of those, places that you might watch sports talk. It really is good stuff. All right, let's get into Baylor Scheierman, who had, also had a pretty good game. 13 points, 4 of 9 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He did have 6 fouls. So what do we take away from Scheierman's game? Okay, first of all, he was nervous. And there's no shame in that. It's your first taste of NBA basketball. You're out there, you're wearing a jersey that says Celtics. That's a kind of a nerve-wracking thing. His first 2 jumpers were, let's call them wonky. It was very not good for Baylor. To the point where it looked like something was wrong physically with him. His form looked horrible. His arm was wobbly. I couldn't figure it out. Like, is this really what his jumper is going to look like? Then he settled down. He hit a jumper, like a little 10-footer or so, settled down. He hits his next 3 3-point attempts and ends up with some pretty good stats. So the shooting, very relatable, very translatable, I should say. If he can settle into a game. Now, you don't want it to be Carson Edwards-y, right? Where he's supposed to be the guy that comes in and scores immediately off the bench and needs time to get going. Like Carson Edwards could score 30, but he needed 27 shots to do it. He needed the high volume. Now, Scheierman did not get high volume, right? So this is it's not a real concern of mine here. But what I'm saying is you don't want to see, coming in and have a couple of misses and then you get going. the 2 shots with the nerves, fine, not a big deal. So let's see what it looks like in the next game. Monday night, that first jumper, it shouldn't be wonky like it was before. The passing was probably the best element of what he did, and that's something that is incredibly encouraging to see, right? That's something that if you're wondering, can the 30th overall pick find a way onto the floor? Well, hitting shots when he's open and finding guys when they're open, those are 2 things that are going to be very, very important for a young player if the Celtics coaching staff is going to consider giving them a little bit of run. His defense was not great. It got better later on, and he did get some rebounds. So, like I said, he had 5 rebounds. He had 3 offensive rebounds. But also, offensive rebounding in Summer League is like a double-edged sword, right? It's great in that you got to hustle. You got to hustle and work to get to those offensive rebounds, right? But also, the boxing out, the defense in Summer League is generally not great. So there are going to be a ton of gaps. So anybody with any sort of motor should go get a bunch of offensive rebounds in Summer League. Like, all you got to do is get out there and work hard. And just by virtue of some less than NBA players, maybe overzealous players, maybe guys wanting to get out on offense and try to prove something or show something to the scouts, there are seams to go in there in offensive rebound. So it's nice to see. You got to have that motor. You got to be able to go do it, and that's nice to see. Also, I'm not going to get too sucked into a bunch of offensive rebounds because of everything I just said. So Scheierman, the passing, when guys, his vision was great. His feel for the game was really, really good. So I was very happy to see that. Now with Scheierman, unlike Springer, Scheierman, this is the first data point that we have. And I'm always skeptical of, and I always say it like this. This is just the first pin in the board. And we all know the Always Sunny meme with the Pepe Sylvia and the push pins in the board and all the yarns and all over the place. Like, as I knock my microphone off, all that stuff is great when you have somebody like Springer, who has multiple years in the league, and okay, good defender, and if he does this, you wrap some yarn around that, and you go to this way, and you go, okay, maybe you can get some rebounds and some steals, and that can lead to transition and blah, blah, blah. Baylor Scheierman, it's just the thumbtack, the push pin, poof. And, okay, now what? So this is great. Great first look. We've seen great first looks in Summer League before. Now what? Monday night, let's see that next push pin in that little bit of yarn and see, does he keep shooting well? Does he keep seeing the floor well? Does he keep rebounding well? Where does the defense go? What does he pick up? What does he work on from game to game? How quickly can he take film from game 1 and process it and apply it to game 2? Those are the things that we're looking for a guy like Scheierman, a rookie. The processing, the comprehension, the application, that kind of stuff. So the passing is something that's been a part of his game for a little while. So I feel good about if he sees a player open, he'll see and he'll make the pass. There'll be a next step. The next step, obviously, there's Summer League, and he'll probably make a lot of passes and good passes in Summer League. That will probably continue. The next step will be preseason, when he's going up against NBA players, and he should get a little bit of run in preseason against NBA level defenders. And will some of the passes that he's making, will they get picked off? Will he get baited into some passes? Will he, that type of stuff is the next, that's the real next data point. So we're getting Summer League data points, and then we'll get preseason data points, and then in season or G League, that type of stuff. But as far as Summer League debuts go, really good. And the one thing about Scheierman that I think makes it, I feel like maybe a little bit more sustainable as opposed to like what you see with Jaden Springer. Springer is such an elite athlete that these elite athletes can find a little bit more success in summer league because the defense is so bad generally that you can get by people. There's a lot of getting to the rim in summer league. Maybe not a lot of finishing, but there's a lot of getting by defenses in summer league. Scheierman is not exactly blazing past people off the dribble. So some of the stuff that he's able to do is like, okay, well, he's not relying on athleticism to do some of this stuff. So that makes it just like, okay, maybe this is a little bit of like a tiny bit impressive as far as that goes. All right, we still got to get to JD Davison, Jordan Walsh, and Anton Watson. That's all coming up in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. That's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. They've got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and a ton more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, or a little bit of all three, kind of like Derek White, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the Jaylen Brown, the MVP, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, which I host on Wednesdays with Jake Madison, covering the league as a whole, talking about all kinds of stuff. This, off season we're still there Monday through Friday all summer long. So whatever the league has to offer, we'll be there all week long, rotating hosts all week. So go check that out wherever you get your podcast. What happened to my camera? There we go. Sheesh, man. Technical issues on YouTube. A little peek behind the green screen in my downstairs studio. All right, let's get into the final three players. JD Davison, Jordan Walsh, and Anton Watson. Davison, I thought, had a pretty nice game. He missed only one shot, and that was at the very end. This is something that I'm maybe like, okay, it's great that he hit those shots. Now, he had 7 assists. That's great. 19 points. That's great. He did have 4 turnovers. I don't like that. The Celtics turned the ball over a little too much, and Davison led the charge there with 4. The 3 for 3 from 3. Impressive. Obviously, you want to hit the shots, right? But he's had those streaky games before. What's the follow-up for him, right? 3 of 3. Is he going to go 0 for 3 in this next game? He's one of those guys I've talked about, guys who are a jumper away from making a contribution. So Springer is one of them. Walsh is one of them. Davis is one of them. Watson is one of them. So 4 guys who, if they can give you a reliable 3-point shot, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Maybe there's room for some contribution. So Davison, 3 for 3 from 3. I would actually, this is going to sound weird, and I know that this doesn't sound like it makes sense. I would rather have seen a 4 for 9 game than 3 for 3, because A, he's taking the shots. B, it's not just hot shooting. It's consistent high percentage shooting. And I just want to see the aggressiveness and the shot falling at a more normal rate. right? I don't like when a guy who doesn't normally shoot well has a perfect shooting night, because that's like Marcus Smart had perfect shooting nights. Marcus Smart holds the 3-point record for the Celtics. He was not a great 3-point shooter. Obviously, I'm not breaking any news there. So the 3 for 3, I'd rather the 3 for 3 than 0 for 3, but also I just don't trust it. So I've seen 2 seasons of he struggles from 3. Now, important for him, the follow-up. Can he follow that up and show a little bit more consistency with that shot? But I loved seeing the assists. That's great. Finding those guys is great. You're going to have some turnovers as a point guard, so I'm not always going to be I'm not going to say like he shouldn't have had any turnovers, but a couple of those turnovers were also not like trying to be too much. So I want to see Davison in control. I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive with the 3-point shot, and I want to see it fall consistently. Jordan Walsh, this is not great, and it's one game, so I'm not going to go too crazy about it. But 1 of 8, 0 of 6 from 3, that's not good. 6 fouls, not good. I think we saw very visible frustration from him on the floor. And I understand that. He's an emotional guy. He's an emotional player. You got to put the misses behind you, and you got to go shoot with confidence. So, okay, you had a bad game. The bounce back is very important for Jordan. Now, last summer, he had a great shooting summer. But now, when you feel like a little bit of pressure, there's one open roster spot, you're probably thinking, oh, can I do something to just grab this spot? He's already under a contract. I shouldn't even say that. He's under contract. But like, it's more of like, is there a way for me to grab an opportunity? I apologize. I briefly forgot that he was already under contract. So he's on a guaranteed deal. But there's this like competition. Scheierman comes in. You're like, okay, he's a shooter. Springer comes in. He's real competition. Springer is real competition for Walsh, because he's a defender. He's a super athlete, and he's been in the league a little bit. If any one of these guys is going to grab a surprise roll off the bench, Springer is like the prime candidate. And also Springer's first game, it's like, okay, here we go. Great shooting night. Shot 3 of 6 from 3. Didn't miss at the line. 6 assists, 2 steals, 23 points. Looked good. He looked good. Okay. Now, when you're looking at that versus what Jordan did, okay, maybe the pressure's there. This is a super important Monday night for Walsh. Get in there. Shoot with confidence. Okay? Whatever you need to do, however you need to psych yourself up, zen yourself out, calm yourself down. I don't know if you need to go down or up. He's a pretty high energy guy, so probably needs to come down a notch or two and just tell yourself you're a good shooter. Just tell yourself you're a good shooter. Understand that the work that you're putting in is paying off. Like, you got to tell yourself the work is paying off. Get out there and shoot. I like the fact that he took 6 3-pointers. Most of those were good looks. Okay. Go out there, visualize it, make it. That's it. I'm not going to write the kid off. Even if he has an entire bad summer, I'm not going to write him off. But it would be kind of important if he comes out Monday night and at least hits a couple. I'm not looking for 4 for 6. I'm just looking for a couple. Just let's see a couple fall, and don't let the missed shots affect your defense. Don't go like either extreme either. don't be like, oh man, I'm missing shots, and put your head down and get blown by. But also, don't go so crazy. You're like, oh, I'm missing shots. I have to make up for this on the defensive end. And then all of a sudden, you're going too far the other way. And you're like, oh man, now you're fouling. You get 6 fouls. Now they get 10 in summer league. So he didn't foul out, but that's not great. Anton Watson, I thought had a pretty decent game, 4 of 7, 2 rebounds, and what do you have? An assist, a steal. He seemed to be in the right place. He seemed to do fundamental things. Now that's a guy, he only took 1 3-pointer and he missed it. Brad Stevens said over the summer, he needs to let it fly. I want to see Watson take 5 or 6 3-pointers. It's going to be tough. I'm asking everybody to take 5 or 6 3-pointers. You might be like, when did Joe Mazzulla hack Karalis and start taking over the podcast? Is this a Rhode Island thing? Is there something in the coffee milk that makes everybody in Rhode Island want to shoot 3-pointers? But this is, again, what is going to get these guys on the floor? What's going to get them to contribute to a current champion trying to repeat? And this is it. Watson, good defender, had a huge block shot, monster block shot. That was amazing. I want to see him be aggressive with that 3-point shot. That's what Brad Stevens said. So do what the president of basketball operations said. But fundamentally, I saw a lot of good fundamentals. The screening seemed good. He seemed to be in the right spots. He did get in there for a couple of offensive rebounds, so that motor is there. He found his way to the offensive rebounds. That's good. I like the fundamental stuff. Now, let's see some of that shooting. I didn't put Neemias Queta on here. 9 of 15 shooting, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, a bunch of tap backs of his own misses. That's the Neemias Queta kind of thing to do. A couple of plays where he had open guys on the perimeter and he still went up for his own shot. A couple in plays where he had nice fancy footwork. That was really good. So I want to see him see the floor better, pass the ball a little bit better. I thought it was okay. He had, I've seen takes that it was underwhelming. Like, what's he going to do? He's not going to go out there and just dominate. He's like kind of an old school center. If anything, I want to see him pick and pop or short roll and hit some jumpers. That's going to be, if he's going to get a lot of time. Now he's up for minutes in the Porzingis injury kind of first couple of months, and he'll get those minutes and he'll play well. So I'm not too worried about it, and that's why I kind of left him for last. This was a very typical Queta game. This is about what you can expect. Is he going to get 15 shots? Generally, no, but also the 15 shots is misleading because on a couple of possessions, he had 3 shots each. So, but I would like to see him see the perimeter better. Like, you're down there, you're being surrounded, they're collapsing on you. Somebody's open. Don't just try to score, right? I know it's summer league and this is your time to shine, but like, it's not really your time to shine. It's time to show the coaches that you can do the things that they need you to do. So again, now Team USA plays Monday at noon in an exhibition, and then the Celtics play Summer League at 10:30. I'll cover both of those things in the Tuesday podcast. So that'll all happen later. So the podcast on YouTube will be released, actually on both sides, audio and YouTube, will be released a little bit later than I've been releasing them throughout the summer. So, but still, I will be here. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Watch on YouTube. Get to that comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about how these guys played in Summer League. And I would love it if you share the podcast and tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.